Hi there. My name is Elizabeth Nolan, and I'm a counselor at the Center for Human Development in Wausau. I also have the privilege and pleasure of spending one day a week, Tuesdays, at the Athens Grade School, working one-on-one with students there to provide them with a safe place to be heard, to feel supported, and hopefully to learn a few important self-care and self-regulation skills. The first thing that I wanted to talk about this morning would be the importance of self-care for parents. A lot of times we hear the word self-care and there's this collective groan because we all know we need to take care of ourselves. But rarely do parents make it to the very top of their to-do list of important people that need to be taken care of. And it's really not unlike when you're on an airplane and the flight attendant gives instructions about if there's turbulence and a yellow mask may fall from the ceiling. We're instructed to put the mask on ourselves first and then onto our child. Now, the gut reaction from a parent is going to be to take care of your child first, right? But the reality is that parents need oxygen so that they don't pass out, so that they're available to help take care of their child. And it's the same thing with the various challenges that we're dealing with in this bizarre time of dealing with COVID, which hasn't just been a sprint, but it's been a marathon, an ongoing marathon, and we really don't know when the ending is going to happen. So we really need to start implementing some basic self-care. You can start with things like increasing your water intake every day, guard your sleep hygiene, try to limit your screen time before going to sleep so that you have deeper, better sleep. Nutrition is important. I've developed a strong preference for eating Hostess snowballs during the pandemic. Never ate one before in my life. Can't live without them now. I particularly like them frozen. The reality is, while it tastes good to me, it's not good for me. And so I make sure that I limit things that are highly processed and high in sugars and things that are just going to get burned up in my system. And I make sure I have an apple occasionally, maybe with a little peanut butter. Just little changes that you can make on a daily basis can help a lot. And also I would want to breathe grace into trying. You know, you get to try something new every single morning. If you don't do well today, you get to try again tomorrow. So this is a time of what I would call false starts. My kids make fun of me because I have a 5-2K app on my phone and I've had it on there for years. I've done week 1 maybe dozens of times, but hey, I get back to it and I try again. So they can say what they want. So self-care, very important. Think about that oxygen mask when you find yourself being dead last on your list of important people to take care of. The second thing that I want to talk about this morning is that children are meaning makers, and they're also egocentric in the way that they make meaning, meaning they don't, like for example, let's say you have a horrible day at work. Let's say your coworker has COVID and you're worried that you are exposed. You're not going to come home and say that to your child, of course, because you don't want them to be worried, but they're going to pick up on something is wrong. And children aren't going to be like Buddy the Elf landing in Central Park and saying to a grouchy raccoon, "Someone needs a hug." Children are going to make meaning out of what they experience and what they see. And they're going to, not unlike that French philosopher Descartes, he said, "I think, therefore I am." With children, it's feelings based. I feel blank, therefore blank. They make meaning out of what they're feeling, whether they can articulate it or not, whether even aware of it or not. So it would be something like, I feel alone, therefore I'm bad, or something like that. And so it's really important that we work really hard at connecting with our children and relating with them. Now, children learn by our example. And if they're, let's say, running errands with you and someone says, "Hey, how's it going?" we all know that the appropriate response is okay, or it could be better, or whatever. So when we see our kids after a long day of school and we say, "How was school today?" they always say, "Fine, good." So we have to work a little bit harder to relate to them. And it could look something like, "Tell me something that made you really happy today." Or if it's an older child, you could say, "Tell me the best part about your day." If it's a younger child, you may have to be more specific and more concrete and say, "Tell me what made you smile today." And just repeat back what you hear. What they say it doesn't matter if it's true or not, or if it makes sense or not. Just validate that they had a feeling and that you feel honored that they shared it with you. Just that can just make all the difference for children, to feel heard and seen. And also, I feel like the concept of monsters under the bed came from children trying to make meaning out of their feelings. There's never been a monster under the bed. We all know that. And we could say there's no monsters under the bed, but they're settling down at night and all they know is that they feel scared. And so they have to make meaning for it to feel relevant. And so that's how they express it. The important thing is that they feel scared, not whether or not there's actually a monster under the bed. So it's repeating back what you are hearing them say. Back in December, I had a friend text me and say, hey, you're very quiet. Is everything okay? And I chose to reveal 3 things that I was really, really stressed about. And she came back with, don't worry about this, don't worry about that, don't worry about the other thing. And what I really needed was for her to say, wow, you have a lot going on. It sounds like you're really stressed. If I could, I'd give you a hug and maybe have her send me an emoji of, somebody getting a big hug. So you have to be really intentional when it comes to communicating with children. For example, if I said roses are red, 99.9% of us are going to say violets are blue. It's not even true. It's just that nothing rhymed with purple. And so it's really important not to just accept a knee-jerk reaction or socially appropriate response with kids. It's important to get down to the feelings that they have. So another thing that can really help kids these days is to have a routine and a schedule. And one thing that can help parents have that is writing it down, putting it on the refrigerator. Mondays will look like this, Tuesdays like that. Just because it's written down and taped to the refrigerator, it does not mean that it's written in stone. Life is always going to present us with exceptions to the rule. But kids feel safety and security if there's rhythm and routine in their lives. And it's really hard to have that right now with COVID, because sometimes they may have to go on quarantine because a classmate had COVID or may have tested positive, or maybe they were exposed in some other way. And so in a time of interrupted rhythms and routines, it really helps for us to strive to provide them with as much of a schedule and rhythm and routine as we can. And it can look as simple as 10 minutes after school, you have free time. And then after that, we'll go for a walk. And then after that, you do your homework and I'll make dinner, and just give a time frame to it. And you can be rough about it, but it helps for kids to know at this time I'm going to be doing that. It just helps to give them structure, and that creates feelings of safety. In closing, I would like to welcome you to contact your child's school counselor or principal for more information about the counseling services available at the schools from the counselors at the Center for Human Development. And if you'd like to know more about this center, you can visit us on the World Wide Web at www.chdevelopment.org. Thanks so much for your time and attention, and I hope you have a great day.